to all the members who have joined us for this program this evening. I am Dr. Surekha Zingri, one of the trustees at the Indian Women Scientists Association. On behalf of the chairperson, Dr. Sudha Rao, chairperson of the Board of Trustees, my colleagues on the Board of Trustees, Dr. Nutan Bakkal, President of the Indian Women Scientists Association Executive Committee, and the members of the Executive Committee, we welcome you to this forum. IWSA is a 52-year-old organization, non-political, non-profit, secular. It is registered with Niti Aayog. It has 12 branches across the country with its headquarters at Vashi, Navi Mumbai. Our main mandates are to take science to society, and we do this through two arms: science awareness programs and community welfare programs. The community welfare programs at the headquarters include a hostel for working women, a daycare center for little children. We have a nursery school. We have early childhood care and education program for training teachers who can teach at the daycares and pre-primary schools and nursery schools. We also have a health center, a library open to men and women, and we request many of you who joined here to take advantage of the activities that we do. Besides this, our science awareness programs extend right from the little ones in the daycare, the nursery schools, the school children, college children, as well as science at large. And today's lecture is one of those which reaches out to community at large. One of our major science awareness programs is supported by the Board of Research in Nuclear Sciences of the Department of Atomic Energy, wherein we take lectures at schools, colleges, and at the society level. And this series of lectures, we have called them Science and Our Life series, which reaches out to anyone interested in what's happening today and how science reaches out to them and mobilizes all their activities. We could have topics on health education, food, engineering, history, geography, architecture, and you name it. And today we'll have another such very interesting lecture from our young speaker of the day, who is Mr. Shreyash K. Sawant. He's a young horticulturist. We happened to meet him at one of our triennial conferences early this year at Vengurla. And we felt he would be the right person to speak to us about his various activities, not only to showcase what one can do, but also to showcase how the young ones can get involved as early as they want. He has international exposure in the programs that he now supports, and he has been trained at the Western Sydney University. He has presented his work at international and national forums. For his activities, he has been notably acknowledged with certificates from the Indian Institute of Management in Bangalore and the Entrepreneurship Development Institute in Ahmedabad, and also the Indian Council for Agricultural Research. He has been recognized as Kautalya, another name for Chanakya, by the Indian Institute of Planning and Management. And you would all remember that Chanakya was the 4th century BC, a political thinker, strategist, and a royal advisor. So we'll have to see today how Shreyash will show us the challenges that have to be faced when you're trying to help women in particular, empower women in particular to stand on their own, help them to make entrepreneurs, become entrepreneurs and conduct activities which can help them financially. And so his lecture is actually titled Empowerment at the Grassroots. So with this, Shreyas, I invite you to please take the stage and uh, inform us about your activities and all the ladies who have benefited from your services. Shreyas is associated with the BAIF, which is also um, science based organization which has adopted Gandhian approaches to rural prosperity with emphasis on climate change mitigation and resilient and sustainable community livelihoods. Over to you, Shreyas.
Good evening, everyone. Hope I'm audible and clear.
Yes, Shreyas, very much so.
Uh, Thank you so much, IWSA, for inviting me to give a speech on your 56th Science of Our Lives session. And it is a pleasure being the youngest, I think, from all the speakers that IWSA had on this platform. Um, my name is Shreyas. I come from a diverse field of experience, specifically, because I haven't had a linear career line. I am a horticulturist, and after that, I got an opportunity to do a training at Western Sydney University, Australia. Post that, my development into the field of entrepreneurship and the development sector itself propelled me to get into this career, and I started my journey with BAIF, that is BAIF Development Research Institute. BAIF has been working from last few decades, and it has impactful work, especially in transforming the lives of tribal as well as rural populace. What interested me about BAIF was the way they execute their programs and the way their programs are designed. And that was the first uh, interaction, or I'll say um, where I first realized what BAIF is. And I was all in for the mission of BAIF, and I got in BAIF. So let me share my screen first. Hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yeah, there it is.
Yes. So today we will be talking about empowering grassroots, rethinking women's role in tribal development. Well, women as a topic has come into my life quite recently, I'll say, because with all your experience, my experience with the women and working in the development sector is quite less. But I think I have realized or learned the way to deal with women development and how to nurture women while being on the field and doing what we do. First of all, as I'm talking to the Indian Women Scientists Association, I truly I a big namaskar to all the women scientists and the Saraswati that is placed in you, and how you are impacting society in your own ways, the impactful life that you have lived, and I'm sure you have motivated a lot of women to do good in their lives, and you have been a role model to them. Well, we'll start the session by understanding the tribal life. Uh, I think that before talking about the women and development specifically, it is very important to understand where we come from and where these people come from. So, a deep insight into life, I believe, starts from the platter that we eat every day. And that is why you could see a small photo of all the food that these people consume. A very wholesome, nutritious food with a very healthy environment, nature loving, nature fearing people with a rich culture. That is what tribal life is. So, if you could see the platter, you could see millet that has been spoken of highly in today's day and age, but these people have been consuming millet from centuries. We could see black gram, that is again a very nutritious uh, food, and even we are talking it now, and but they have it from long time. Most of us only know potato as a tuber crop, but here I have ate more than seven tuber crops. So a rich diversity of nutrition dense food. That is what tribal food is all about. The wooden gods that you see here are the gods that tribal people worship. They are the gods of work, gods of agriculture, gods of land, and and that way. And they depict a certain animal, and that could also see the association of how tribal people worship nature. The hut that you see is I'll say, a tribal villa, and the most beautiful location, at the most beautiful location, beautiful environment, fresh air that Mumbai and Delhiites could hardly imagine, and beautiful life, beautiful hearts. Everything about it is beautiful. So, second state that I would like to show. Oh,
Shreyas, could you use your pointer? Maybe a laser pointer if that is there.
yes, I could. Yeah. The pen. So, understanding their hearts. Now we understood their life, their food, their culture, and now we'll understand their hearts. So, this particular picture, if we see, is a picture of any road around these tribal hamlets, and we could see abundant food that has been grown, not for self or for the lives of their own families, but for people.
हाँ
Something
तुम
that
छोड़ने
has
जाओगे हाथ में लेते हैं ना
um,
मैं
please tell.
7 बजे के बाद ही निकलूंगी
Um,
Yeah, no worries.
would everybody switch off their mics other than Shreyas?
So what I was saying is the food that these people grow at the roads and around their hamlet is something that is very insightful. We all talk of sustainability, SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, how we can do what we can do so that we can achieve those goals. But I think the lives of these people are definition of sustainable development. Now, when a person grows a creeper, mostly in even in rural and in urban setting, it is either for sales or for self-consumption. But no one is growing for the community, and these people are growing food for the community. After the winter season, after the summer season, they will be having patches of land, like removed, like all the weeds are removed from that patch of land, and then certain type of seeds are sown, like Indian bean, flat bean, bitter bean. All local varieties are grown, and they give bountiful yield. No one is even bothered to get the yield out of it. So you can just go collect vegetable and make it for yourself. So it is a very silent way of loving your community, and it is a simple gesture. If you think deeply about it, your heart would be warmer by what you see. But I think what they do or how they they do sustainability in simple gestures. We see here a old tribal woman. She's planting karonda plants as a hedge around her house. Now, it also gives a lot of fruits. So it is both like loving the community as well as protecting your house. So that is what their hearts are all about, loving the community to its core. As I'm working with BAIF, and BAIF has done meaningful work in these environments from last 40 years, and it is the main. I think it is because they value a lot about the rural societies. The vision of BAIF is building a self-reliant rural society assured of food security, safe drinking water, good health, gender equality, low child mortality, literacy, high moral clean and clean environment. Mission of BAIF is to create opportunities to gain self-employment. And when we say self-employment, BAIF's mission is to make farmers uh, very strong by themselves and not dependent on anyone for employment. Our founder Manibhai Desai says that it is very important that we um, enrich the tribal and the rural communities so that they can be self-employed by themselves and not depend on other factors. Coupled with the values from Dr. Varghese Kurian, he says that development is not about giving men or women directly, like cows and buffaloes in his context. He says that one should give women and men instruments of change. And BIF has also given some instruments of change that you will see in the next slide. One of the instrument of change is creeper model, that is trellis-based farming. If we see the history of the tribal region, mostly in rainy seasons, these people used to grow paddy, and post that in winter season, after paddy was harvested, these people used to go migrate to other places for cutting sugarcane or doing menial labor. And that has changed with the creeper model uh, being provided by Bayer as an instrument of change to the community. Today, we could say that in South Gujarat region, major part of South Gujarat has turned into a vegetable bowl, and it is providing vegetables to Surat, Silvas, Mumbai, Vadodara, as well as Ahmedabad. So that change from living a very a life of migration and a life which is very uncertain to a life of prosperity with the creeper model is a real life change that BIF has brought to people's life. We have these models are well studied, and we have calculated the amount of benefit that a farmer would receive by planting this model. It is more than 65,000 rupees, and if practiced for many seasons, it is double than that. So it is a instrument of not just change, but I think it is instrument of confidence, we can say. And similar to this is the non-creeper model, that is a high-valued crop cultivation. Here we focus on solanaceous crops like brinjal, chili, and also floricultural crops like Taget selecta and other crops. And in this also we could see that Bayer has very smartly planned the complete structure of the field, and there are models in place that can benefit the farmers to take their income from BPL, that is below poverty line, to above poverty line. Heard of such model that was a revolutionary model in the South Gujarat region was the Wadi model. And Wadi model was nothing but the paddy fields were converted into horticultural lands. Now, paddy, for example, gives a yield of a menial amount, and it is a crop of 5 months, 4 to 5 months. But Wadi gives yield till 20 years, and that has transformed this geography, especially the South Gujarat geography, if we talk about. Wadi cultivation has been a phenomenal step by BIF actually in this particular region, because the evidences of it is cooperatives. 4 cooperatives has been developed because of these wadis, and farmers are getting very good pay in return. They included the mango and the cashew crop, and the land. If you see the topography, one can just wonder how such land can be farmed. But they have successfully grown around 5,000 wadis in such geographies, and it is successfully even running in today's day as well. With different projects, we are reaching to more farmers where more and more wadis are being cultivated. And one of the example about Wadi was that even community supports Wadi. In certain regions where water is scarce, it was very difficult for Wadis to survive. But recently, I got a news from one of my colleagues that 350 villages, in 350 villages, 350 ponds were dug, and the pond length was 18 feet height, 18 feet length, breadth 18 feet, and that was all dug by the community in just 2 months. So that is something that the community also surprises with. That is the ability or the initiative of doing what is needful. And maybe it is, maybe our past president used to say that BAIF starts with projects which are community led, and that is what example of community led projects are. Wadi could survive now in that particular region because of the 350 pits, water pits that the farmers have digged. Artificial insemination. Now, this is an instrument of change again, and it was the initiator of BIF actually. Increasing the genetic value of the crop, and I mean the cattle, is very important, and it can be done by artificial insemination. It gives two income sources. One is by the milk as well as by the what we call as pashudhan, and it has direct impact also impact that the farming communities are being experiencing in the region as well. So today we see that BIF has successfully transformed the agricultural and the animal husbandry pattern of the village. And today we see that agriculture with animal husbandry is both now helping the farmers to earn a livelihood for themselves, and the immigration has stopped. Migration, sorry. This another instrument of change is mushroom cultivation and vermicompost production. With various CSR initiatives and the history of consumption of meat in this region, and the religious and a lot of like work of the religious organizations in mitigating the meat from the geography has led to a new liking to mushroom as a commodity, and mushroom cultivation is also taking role into this geography. Also, vermicompost production, with the advent of having livelihood with livestock, we have a lot of byproducts that could be converted into vermicompost, and that is also an instrument of change that BIF is currently leading. Now, women empowerment is not a singular process. It comes with a unit, and SHG is the unit. So, as we all know, in the development sector, especially if we talk about women empowerment field vertical, there is the concept of SHG. SHG is nothing but a group of 10 to 11 women who meet monthly to do savings in the group, and that saving leads to the livelihood generation of many families. So it is more of seen as a secondary source of income. It's not exactly an income, but a source of financial assistance, the SHG groups. There are lots of funds that are coming from CLF, from the VO, from to the SHG. CLF is cluster level federation, VO is village organization, and SHG is the unit of the complete system. 10 to 15 SHGs come together to form a VO, that is a village organization. It mostly consists all the SHGs in the village. Now, the CLF is also a big cluster level federation. It has 15 VOs, and it has the funding of 15 lakh as well. So government is also focusing on empowering women by strengthening the SHG structures. And that has been happening with the process of creation of PZs, that is producer groups, and TCs. And when we talk about SHGs, they are meeting monthly. So it is a secondary family of that woman. And she grows there, she lives there, and also she can earn a livelihood that we have tried to do. So we started with enterprises as a tool of development. If we could think back 200 years, we could realize that somewhere every household was a enterprise. Every household, by which I mean a potter used to make their own pots, used to sell in the villages and earn a living from that. A farmer used to grow crops, sell it into the village. It was a barter system. Also, flower cultivation. There are specific castes actually in today's Maharashtra. If you see, Mali is nothing but the flower cultivators of Maharashtra, and they used to do the barter with other commodities that they required. We had the people who wore the bamboo baskets, and they had their own market. So, how did we went from a enterprise rich India to a enterprise deficient India? And how the economic disparity has increased. I think the reason is that we have forgotten that enterprise exists in our rural villages, not just in the villages, but at the household level. And that is what I realized while I was working here. And therefore, I also realized that we need to have the control of our enterprises. The farmers or the tribal women or tribal families are just seen as the sources of raw material in today's day and age. And why I see that is a problem, because when we say producers, they are not in the money making part, they are just in the production part. And that is why there is a gradual decrease in the income of these families. And for that reason, I realized that a trading unit should be established. So, what better can be a trading unit than a woman led federation that is enclosing around 3,700 women of the region? And there, our journey into the enterprise development and our innovations in enterprise development began. What you're seeing in the picture right now is the BODs, that is the Board of Directors of the Women Federation. And we are selecting a logo that is the identity of that brand. The name of this federation is Sahyari Sakhi Federation, and the tagline is Sakhino Haat Sakhine Saath. That means the friend's hand is always with the Sakhi, and the with the help of her, all will rise. And this logo was democratically selected by the BOD members. One thing I have realized about development is that development should be facilitated, or only could be facilitated. Development cannot be forced. And every step of the way, your uh, the subject of your development practice should be kept in uh, loop, or in the complete structure of whatever you're trying to create. So we created the logo, the Sakhi Sayari, and from that day we began with the trade woman as a trading unit of that particular block. And we have been working rigorously uh, so as to establish like a voice for themselves and a voice for the producers of commodities. This is the logo that embodies the soul of the tribal woman. The woman on the left, you could see, is in her 20s. The woman in the middle is in her 30s, and the woman in the right is the woman who is elderly. And with her tribal outfit as well as the jewelry, it embodies the tribal soul into them. And the expression, it suggests that these women are unapologetic and they are here for doing business. And with that strong emotion and strong say of themselves, we initiated a work as Sayari Saki Federation. Now, mushroom, as discussed earlier, was a commodity that was practiced on household level, especially when there were projects. So, BAIF used to emphasis on mushroom as a commodity. Now, there is an importance of mushroom other than a commodity, other than an enterprise. If we see the diet of these people, mostly there is a missing protein source into their diets. With the advent of like paddy cultivation being the mainstream cultivation, the platter that they are having is again getting rich in carbohydrates. but it is losing its proportions for proteins. That's why mushrooms, we believe, are very important as a dietary need of these people. And to support the same, and to support the women entrepreneurs who are producing mushroom, we came up with mushroom packaging that is led by the Sayari Saki Federation. Before, the women used to pack those mushrooms in the single-use plastic bags that are harmful for nature. She used to pack those in the morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and she used to go to the Haat, that is the weekly bazaar. All those mushrooms used to get spoiled because of the sogging. Because mushrooms are very fragile. They can be very easily destructed. So for that, we facilitated the box and the brand of Sayari Saki. With that effort, per kg, the woman is receiving the uh, increase in her the commodity by 50%. There is an increment of 50%. And also the shelf life has increased from merely a few hours to 2 to 3 days. This is a very small intervention, but when we did it with Federation, I realized that we are working on something that is going to stay forever. So this was our first step into making them aware of their uh, what they can do and their abilities to uh, have a say or have a role into the enterprises of their region. And this was our first step. Secondly, we started with vermicompost. So in this picture, we could see that this is the vermicompost producer, and the story behind us getting into vermicompost is that vermicompost was highly important commodity, but it was getting very less price. Why? Because the traders from the Nasik region used to come to the tribal hamlets and used to collect all the available vermicompost for negligible rates. They used to give 2 to 3 rupees per kg, which was very less as compared to the current market prices. Today, the in the market, the vermicompost is sold for more than 100 rupees in certain places. But we at least felt that these women should receive the price realization of more than 5 rupees for her vermicompost at her house. And that is why we created two distinct units. One was the Sayari Saki Federation and the producer group. So we could see that this is the producer woman of the vermicompost, and these are the trading unit, that is the Sayari Saki Federation members. And together they used to trade the uh, vermicompost. So we were able to give the price realization of 4 to 5 rupees to the producer members, and Sayari Saki Federation sold it for 6 rupees in bulk sale. Now the reason of keeping this picture is that we have to lead by actually doing or actually practicing that commodity. And by what I mean by commodity or what I mean by intervention is that we have to do what we expect the other person to do and lead by example. I remember the first lot of all these bags. I sold the bags by myself, and they then realized that okay, this is the intervention that should be done. Because unless and until one do not show them what to do, they won't be do it and they won't be doing it. So once I showed them, I realized that they are doing it by themselves now. And important aspect of this is like, if I take it as a job, I don't think I could do it. But if I take it as a project that I want to do, like this complete intervention, I have to be 100% involved. And the involvement brings a trust into the community that is very crucial for future uh, processes. And that is why this particular intervention again strengthened their entrepreneurial abilities. And also, they started looking at vermicompost in a different lens altogether. Thirdly, also there were few groups, those were doing the vermicompost, but they were doing it on a very small scale. So there also we created packagings that could be catering to the B2C audience or the customers, that is direct to the customer. So there we got into the packaging material that was SHG led. And with that, the next picture that we see, that are the plates made from biodegradable like material. Now, in cities, we could see that there are people getting into the biodegradable space, and also there are many entrepreneurs who are involved into the biodegradable market. But what we could see here is that they are again exploiting these communities and buying it for the minimal or the cheapest rate that are possible. Uh, and it has always been like that. Rural and tribal environments, villages, hamlets are always used as the raw material source and very beautifully marketed. I mean, if we see the marketing campaign of these uh, products, we could see that there is a woman who is doing the work in the tribal settings, but she doesn't really have a say there, and she doesn't get the profit margin that she should get for being on that packet. So it is, I think people say that there's whitewashing, greenwashing. I'll say that is tribal washing, and that is very prevalent. So to stop that, we need to have strong women from the community themselves who can take ownership of their products and sell their products at par with the existing market players. Another innovation of enterprise development was collection centers. So if we see that trading, when we talk about trading as an enterprise, collection and selling the commodity and then earning the margin is something that many traders are involved into. And when we talk about the interaction or the relation between a trader and a farmer, we could see that farmers are heavily exploited, and the traders, even if you think about a trader, you know you're talking about a rich guy. And that is what the sad part is. I mean, it is the woman, it is the families, the family members of these women going in the field, doing the hard work, doing the cultivation, picking the fruit, cleaning the fruit, collecting the fruits, weighing the fruits, and then they are getting negligible amount. And a trader who is just having contacts and have a capital to do the trade gets the desired that he desires as an outcome. And not just that, I mean, if that was honest, we could at least say that that is fine. Even if you are paying less, it is okay. But then you cheat them in the weighing of their commodities and hold their cash. Then do not give them proper like rates. I think that all somewhere can be easily mitigated by just empowering our women to be the traders. And that is what we are doing with the enterprise and innovation in that. So the right side we see is the cashew collection center that we proposed through the products through the project, and we have today 50 cashew collection centers that are running. And now it is not just cashew, but all the other commodities like white muesli, which is again a high valued commodity that is being collected by the women and sold to the cooperatives. Again, that is again of the farmers, and the cooperative is doing the business. So it is again a sustainable phase of the market that we are having in the rural and the tribal areas. The cooperation, the cooperative, and the cooperation between the SHGs and cooperatives is very important. And establishing that is another challenge. It is not just the good picture that I'm trying to show you. It is a lot of struggles. Uh, People involved into corruption, people having their own biases towards women. A lot of things are there. But still, at least the presence of women as traders is empowering them and the women farmers as well as the farmer in general so that they get the proper rates, and we have given that to the women. Uh, when we talk about packaging or face, so that is nothing but the face of the product. And here, where we could see that all the commodities are sold, like before it was sold in like loose packaging with shabby plastic paper, single-use plastic paper, and then that used to be like sold not for the prices that were desired. Then there was loss, especially in case of like making cost minus the what was received. But um, also while delivering that, the consumer didn't have a good experience. And to help SHG women to create that product identity for themselves, we worked rigorously on the branding and the packaging aspect. And a small sticker can do wonders actually. I realized one of the women coming from a heart that we created packaging for her chuda. This is not the woman, there is another woman. And she came back and she said that as soon as I kept my crate, it all got sold. It all got sold. So that is what something that women realize after understanding about packaging, and maybe after me, or maybe after BAIF or without BAIF, they could be able to do it, and that is what my effort is, to make it as sustainable as possible, to make it as self-dependent of the community as possible. The repeated one, okay. Your so innovation and enterprise development. One more was motivating farmers to grow high valued commodities. So, if we talk about high valued commodities, white muesli was the example that we saw in the tribal landscape. That white muesli had a lot of value in the pharmaceutical industry, but the farmers here were not very aware. They used to consume the green leafy part as a bhaji. They used to call it bhaji. Yeah, they still call it bhaji. But then we realized that this commodity is very interesting. It grows only on the light lands, and this commodity was again forced on and focused on in our intervention. Learnings and reflection: what worked, what didn't work. Telling a SHG woman to do something never works. Like me saying that this should be done, this has to be done, it never works because they do not have a say in it. There's no ownership into it. What works instead is leading by example. By saying that this might work, let's try together. It works. What doesn't work is making decisions for them. The day you make a decision for enterprise, you have lost their ownership into it. What works is asking them what should be done, what could be done, how it could be done, and giving them the necessary exposure for them to uh, understand and experience what their say does into their enterprise. So these are all learnings and reflections that I have received, and that is making me more and more grounded, and also understanding the fact that my say is not the final say, especially in community development. Many people project their views. For example, whenever we talk of development, first thing we talk is infrastructure. But then development is not about infrastructure. Development is about the mindset, the thought, the ability to see the existing into an innovative way. That is what development is for these people. And that is what my learnings are, like real learnings are. What are the role of tribal women in the development? Now, tribal women are custodian of knowledge. They have the knowledge of the tribal medicine, they have the knowledge of the tribal food, the crops, various crops that we never even heard of. We need the tribal women to really understand that. And sadly, we are losing time. We are losing the generations who knew what exactly goes in what medicine and what kind of commodity, or I mean, what kind of product they used to eat, and what works when the mainstream medicine fails. There was a study which shows that in COVID-19, the tribal hamlets were the least infected, and they used the medicine of the Vaidu, the traditional healer. And it is very interesting because right now we feel there's no need of all this medicine because we are overly dependent on the new age medicine. But it is not a good idea to not have a plan B, and it is not a good idea to not invest on the research of these medicines. So, as custodians of knowledge, we need to understand and understand the role of the tribal woman in development. Collective adoption. Whenever a woman tries to do something, that is my experience, or whenever we say something to a woman, they will always be up for collective adoption. So it won't be like, okay, I want to do it, or only I will do it, or only you do it. It's like, chalo, let's do it together and see what happens. Almost all the interventions that we did in the group have been done in group. I mean, they all initiated by them in a group, and then they practiced it alone. So a very interesting attribute of women that they believe in the group. Livelihood heroes. Now, a woman is a hero in livelihood. Why do I say that? Is because they are silent engines that are working rigorously. When we talk of Safed Musli, white Musli, they are the one who are removing the white muesli, cleaning the white muesli, and their husband sells the white muesli. When we talk of cashew, they are the one collecting the nuts, cleaning the nuts, and their husband sells into the market. We can see husband as the earner, but I think most of the hard work, and even government knows about it. Even PM has said into one of his Man Ki Baat that women are the backbone of Indian agriculture. This is again a statement which is very much used, and that is very true in my observation as well. Take it vegetable, animal husbandry, everywhere women's role is like immense, and we have to understand that they are livelihood heroes. They are sustainability in action. I mean, if we talk of a tribal woman, she knows exactly what to do in terms of environment, in terms of sustainability. She will have seeds of their own, like locally grown, like seeds like of beans, nuts, and whatnot. And also, she knows what to use where. She is very sustainable in terms of understanding that what we require, what we do not require, what my child requires. And that is what we need to learn from these women. And they're facilitators of change. And I have seen it quite literally. When a woman changes in her family, whole family changes. And not just her family, her second family, that is the SHG, that also changes. So that is the importance and the role of the tribal women that we need to understand in development and not force them to do what we plan in our projects to do with them. We have to understand them as a participant, not as someone who will follow our directions. And that has been a major learning. And maybe because of that, our work, whatever we did, was impactful because it came from the community. And when it comes from the people and when we enrich it, uh, it has a lasting impact. Now, role of support in women empowerment. These two pictures are of two women of the same geography, and we could see that how support plays a major role. The first woman in the picture is Manisha Bey from the Besdara village of the Dharampur block, and uh, she was our field facilitator. And one day she suddenly stopped coming to our office. Uh, and when I got to talk to the block staff, I realized that I got to know that her husband doesn't like she coming to the meeting. And why is that so? Because her husband saw a few of our male staff. And there I realized that marriage can be such a horrible thing for development of women. And at the same time, if you see at the right side of the picture, we have Ankita Ben. She is an orphan. She married to her husband when she was 18. And post that, with the support of the husband, she learned to rode a two-wheeler. She is a uh, a mentor or not a mentor, a teacher in a project of other projects. She's also giving training. She's a trainer in mushroom cultivation. She's earning 3,000 per training, and that is only possible because of the support that she receives. The major difference that I see in both of them is that the support that they receive. And the major similarity is that they are both young, able, and enthusiastic and very energetic individuals. Both of them have the uh, core of change. I mean, what is required to change, the intensity of change. But just because of support, they couldn't do what they want to do. And I sometimes feel helpless. What is the call of action? Help save the eroding tribal knowledge. As I'm talking to all the scientists, retired scientists, and you have what many people lack, that is understanding, deep understanding of knowledge and importance of preserving that knowledge. And I think it can be a action point for all of us to be that source of encouragement to, or the savior in us should save the eroding tribal knowledge. Second is to mentor, be a role model to help. Always, whenever we talk of women, especially in tribal landscape, I have seen that the woman is looking at herself from the other person's perspective, and that is very strong. When I see that my words are going to have direct impact on what she is going to feel of herself, I get extremely cautious of what comes of my mouth. Even my non-verbal cues, they are very good at reading with women. They are very smart, but they see themselves with our lenses, and that is very, very important to nurture that. And as experienced scientists yourselves, as well as women being women, you could be an excellent source of mentor and a role model to these young women of the tribal areas. Buy local, buy woman made, and buy it from women. That is very important. Most of the commodities are marketed as made by women, but they are never. But whenever we see there are women with big, big bamboo baskets selling mango, jamun, please buy from them. And surprisingly, it is the most zero waste, highly sustainable, highly good for health food that you could have. And there's nothing bad about spoiling your maybe handkerchief or something to eat that fresh delight. So we need to change the perspective of consumerism also. We are being marketed that good food only comes in packages. It doesn't. Good food comes fresh. Food comes fresh from nature, and the package also includes things that are killing us, preservatives. So please buy local. Please buy from these women who are supporting their family. Support truly ethical brands. Again, really know the backstory. Most of the time, they are so good at marketing, branding that they do it at a scale where you are, I mean, completely blinded by what you see. So just to understand where it is coming from, how it is coming from. Listen to their stories and appreciation. So aspiration. So the thing is that we have to give a listening ear. When a woman is heard, she feel that she is important. I have had experiences because certain times women used to cry in front of me, and I do not know what has happened. But just a listening ear, give them the necessary support that is required for them to re-stand on their feet. So please do that. Give feedback and encouragement. The more you engage in their products, even if you don't like them, please tell them you don't like them. You should develop, you should work on it, and she will. I ensure she will, because women have that in them. They will come up with a better product, a better service to you, and also have words of encouragement, because for her it means words, and especially from women like you, like the wise and the intellectual women like you, it will come as a more stronger advice. So that is from my side. At the end, I would like to say that Empowerment isn't about giving women a voice. We are no one to give women a voice. It's about amplifying the one they have always had and trusting them to lead change. When they will have the ownership of their development, it is obviously going to be developed. We are just the nurturers, the facilitators, the supporting, the strong, firm supporting that they require in the process. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shreyas. I think you opened our eyes was of about how to really work together as a collective and what is our role, essentially from being a listener to helping them to become developers and ensuring that they follow the directions that are given when they are confident that your views and their views are matching. With this, I open it up to questions from the audience, and either you can just come in with a question, or if you wish, put it in a chat box, or show your hand. I think that is how it goes. So maybe I'll just
Here, Madhu here.
Madhu. Yes, Madhu.
Shreyash, very impressed. We saw you running here and hopping there in the conference, but you have really impressed us by your talk today. I just wanted to know that how much time you been devoting and since when you started this journey.
So I have been involved in SHGs even from my college days, but officially I started my journey with BAIF in December 2023. So it will be 3 years now. 2 years now.
Wonderful job. You have achieved quite a lot. And the best thing I liked, you were not um, looking at anything. Everything was coming from your heart and your experience. Wonderful talk. Thank you.
So I have more technical questions, Shreyas, for you. These different areas of land, do they belong to BIF or to the tribals themselves?
So it actually belongs to the government. So these are forest lands that are given for tribal families to have a livelihood for themselves. BAIF has no role in the land.
Okay, so the tribals themselves have to approach um, the men approach the government, and BIF supports this interaction to ensure they get the land. Is that how I understand it?
We support them to enhance their livelihood. We also have centers like there's a Caprara campus. If a tribal farmer is willing to get some help, any kind of help, we are
Yeah.
always up to help those farmers. Also, many farmers do communicate directly, so we are always on our toes.
Okay, I think there are some questions here. What is the menfolk involved in? Do they cooperate with the women in the venture?
There is a mixed answer into this because the men who are involved in the trading, they hate it because they are the one who are extracting the community. And when women are trying to like solve that, it doesn't work in a very healthy way. But I think they are very respectful towards women. The community itself, the tribal community, as unlike we see in the city areas, they have a very strong say in the community. So whenever someone is doing something regarding their own like proceedings or whatever they like, there's no backlash as such. But the people who are involved in like corruption, uh, extracting the community, then they obviously are not happy. But someone's partners like are very much supportive. Some partners are not very supportive. But then women also doesn't really give a damn about their partner. They go to the SSG instead and they get support from their friends.
Good. I'm glad they're showing their powers. So we have Dr. Sunita Mahajan here who says, "Thank you, Shreyas. It was a well thought out lecture and showed deep understanding on women's work." And there are other two questions here. Dipali Kholkar's thanks you for a very inspiring talk, and you have achieved such good work at such a young age. And all the very best to you. And everybody wishes you the very best for your work ahead. I'd like to know how, I mean, I know that entrepreneur executives like you train them. Are there many like them, like you in the BIF community?
Currently, I am leading the Valsad district, and I'm leading enterprises of 41,000 women. So, as it depends on the geography, but I am more than happy to support any tribal intervention as well.
That's a lot of women power you have to handle.
Yes.
It's
So
not small.
I have a team of 11 staff who are
Yeah.
working, and the cadre itself is 85 cadres are working, which are women themselves from the villages. Uh, we have selected one woman per village, and then they are working.
So you have to find a strong woman who can lead the rest of the band of women. Is that how it would be?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes it just shines through the crowd, and we just select them.
How do you actually encourage the women to come forward? I understood that you have to first acknowledge that they have the knowledge. And once you say that, yes, you have the knowledge and accept their knowledge, and then you motivate them from that onwards to get the work done. Would that be right?
We have to give them the necessary exposure. The thing about exposure is that the change that one receives with exposure cannot be seen, but we could see them it from their action. So exposure has a major role, and especially if it comes from the women themselves. For example, some woman is practicing a commodity or an enterprise. If we if we show that woman, or if we let that woman talk to the woman practicing, it would be far more impactful. So if they don't know a technical thing, we need to give the exposure and post that whatever thinking they will develop would be very much grassroots centric, because it is what the experience that they have, and most of the time their thinking works.
Okay. Another one I was wondering was you have even gone into artificial insemination. It's something that is probably done otherwise in tribal areas, but actually to do it very scientifically, you
Yes.
would have had to give them a very strong lecture on how important it is and why it has to be done. Communicating that at that level itself would be a challenge, I assume.
Actually, BAIF and the innovation of BAIF. So BAIF has the Central Research Institute at the Urali Kansan campus of Pune.
Yeah,
There they have developed insemination in the can that is this much, this size.
yeah,
And we have people who are trained in insemination, who are carrying that can to specific villages, specific hamlets, and giving house services. I mean, going house to house and giving the artificial insemination. So, adopting the insemination, I think before it would have been a issue. Like, I don't know, generations biofians before me would have had difficult times with the community. But the time currently where I am working, I think they are very much known of artificial insemination, the positives, the negatives, both of it. Artificial insemination is highly debated topic, to be honest,
yeah.
in the scientific community also in terms of development. But what BIOP sees in artificial insemination is the direct money realization benefit to the farmer. In if we see the geographies, we are talking about geographies which are highly secluded, the geographies which do not have any other income source, and artificial insemination, and if it is a female, it directly gives the price realization of more than 1 lakh rupees, which is
Mm,
a lot for a tribal family. So I see it through that lens.
okay.
I can add in here. This is Rita Mukhopadhyay. Hi, Shreyash. We have met you in the past. Uh, I have a comment about the BAIF embryology department. I had the privilege of visiting that place very long ago. And at that time itself, there was an amazing tissue culture facility and IVF facility for the animals. Therefore, the cans which he was referring into the villages, where nothing but liquid nitrogen, the protein is carried and things are done. So that is a very good setup. And I've seen it at least 15 years ago. Therefore, now it would be more advanced. It had surprised me when I visited it that long back. Next thing was I wanted to ask Shreyash that these villages which BAIF has approached and you are working at these areas, how far are they from the metro? If also you consider Pune as a metro, or you consider Nashik as a metro?
Okay. More than
How
200
far?
kilometers.
More than 200 kilometers. Okay, so I can put the baseline as they are nowhere close to urbanization effects.
Some part of it is, some part is, let's say, 60 kilometers, 40 kilometers. So that kind of part is like very much urbanized now. And also we could
Okay,
see that there is a tribal innovation in urbanization, and
right.
that tribal way of urbanizing. But there are certain parts even today where um, there are no basic facilities. So we are talking about both the areas, the
Okay.
developed areas.
And my final question for this round is BIF, the funds which is coming to BIF for executing such programs, is BIF also being able to get the funds to put it in the hands of these volunteers? Like, simply put, are you paying them to do the work they are doing? Or are they coming to do the work without any monetary benefit? And with this hope that, okay, if I learn it and then I'll be able to execute to get my money.
So there are two kinds of people working in bio. One is the volunteer work that you just said, and one are the professionals who are running the organization. So they are
I'm
also.
asking about the village people, the village ladies who came to train under you.
Mhm.
Was there a kitty in that whole project to pay them their daily wage amount? Otherwise, they would have gone to earn their daily wage amount because they need to bring food to their houses. So, how did you manage that part? That they came to learn under you without any incentive of money?
That's a very interesting question, actually, and very important question. And the best part about it is that there was no transfer of money whatsoever from buyer.
Mm,
But they came with a hope that with the quality of the people who are on the field doing their work and the hard work that they are putting in, that it would be beneficial for me somehow.
mm,
And they start with we start, our structure is very simple. So this project is into women entrepreneurship. So we start with the SHG as a unit. SHGs are bound to meet monthly, like once a month they are going to meet. So there we go and we do our work, we initiate our work. We group these women together, we make their FFS, that is a farmer field school, and we
mm,
start working with different topics, different activities with them. Some can be supported by the project, but not directly. We give them
mm,
the support, like mushroom seeds, let's say, or papad machine, something like that. Or even the federation has traded that. So I
mm,
forgot to mention it into this, but we traded the papad machine, and we also received 40% benefit from that. And the community literally purchased it. So it is the SHG and the strong, um, you know, relation that they have maintained. And I think it is hard work of lots of past BIFians that has
mm.
instilled that trust into into the
Mm.
SHG structures.
Yeah, that's very good to know because I see that if there is no incentive of any earning, even while training is happening, it's difficult to get them to spend their time, which otherwise they could have earned their daily 800 rupees or 1000 rupees. Yeah.
And you know
Thank
what the
you.
surprising part is that we don't even feed them. They don't
Mm,
even get the refreshment. Still, they come and they are eagerly waiting. Most of the times, because of the area and because of the number of women, Most of the times I visit to an area after maybe 1 month or 2 months, because that is not even possible, 41,000.
Mm-hmm.
So they are eagerly waiting. Even if I'm 1 hour late, 1.5 hour late, they are eagerly waiting for just to understand what me and my team has to say. So that kind of quality we are putting into the proceedings.
Very good. Very good to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rita. One last question I'll take. I think there is how much is the profit margin generally, even for something like mushrooms, which they sell? Do they get enough to make up for all their hard work?
So they are the producers and they are also selling. So we cannot really like profit margin we cannot remove. But if I calculate, uh, okay, it will be more than 70% of the profit.
Okay.
Like if we see the cost that is put into the commodity and whatever profit, so 70% of the amount is what they are getting. So it is very much. I mean, because they are the producers, so they are selling it directly. We are
Yes.
giving them price realization of 50 rupees. I mean,
We could continue to speak with you, but looking at the time, and I'm sure many of our participants here can connect with you on your email. And on behalf of all of them, I would like to convey to you that we really enjoyed your insightful lecture. And we've noticed how, through the Gandhian way, BIF and their individuals like you who have shown provided the instruments of change to help them to become entrepreneurs and start self-help groups. Thank you so much, Shreyas, and we look forward to more